Are you feeling overwhelmed by your schedule? Or maybe you're looking to be more efficient with your time, but you just can't seem to get your calendar to the point where you can get things done. The answer is calendar blocking. Calendar blocking is one of the easiest and most effective ways to unlock more free time and get more done. It's the #1 method I use when it comes to organizing my schedule for optimal productivity. But calendar blocking is a time management method that will help you create structure in your days for various types of tasks and projects. In this video, I'll help you unlock the secret to staying organized and on top of your tasks with calendar blocking. Let's get to it. So calendar blocking is not simply just writing tasks into a calendar, it's actually structuring your days in an effective way to help you focus on more and avoid distractions. It will also help you create rhythm in your day to increase productivity. The great part about calendar blocking is that it can be used with a digital planner or a paper planner. No matter what type of calendar you're using, this method can easily be implemented to take back control of your schedule. So if you're new to calendar blocking, you're in the right place. I'm going to introduce you to the basics of this technique and how you can leverage it within your schedule to boost your productivity. The one last thing before we get into tip #1 is there is a downloadable time blocking template in the description below. Just look in the description, click on the link, and we'll have it emailed right over to you. So what actually is calendar blocking? And before I get into how to calendar block, we need to understand what it is first. Calendar blocking is a time management tool that will help you create structure in your days for various types of tasks. Basically, you're chunking out blocks of time in your calendar throughout the day for specific tasks. It helps you stay focused and avoid distractions by structuring your days in an effective way. When you calendar block, you need to make sure that you plan everything in your schedule. That means tasks, projects, appointments, events, meetings, and any other areas of your life that require you to be somewhere or do something specific. And I would recommend even calendar blocking your rest and free time as well. It's a great way to set boundaries on your time. Here is an example of a calendar block day. From 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, wake up and breakfast. From 8 to 9, workout. From 9 to 12, client work. And then from 12 to 1, you're doing a quick rest with lunch and a walk. From there, 1 to 2, admin work. 2 to 4, content creation. 4 to 6, going back to client work. 6 to 7, dinner, and then 7 to 9, time for yourself, protected time, and then you could read as well. So basically, this is an example of how the day can be chunked out with calendar blocking. Tip #2, start calendar blocking your weekly schedule. Start by grabbing your calendar and writing out what you do every week. I want you to block out your weekly schedule with the things that typically happen every single week. Let's start with work. Like, what days do you work? What times do you work? Or for the entrepreneurs out there, what are the non-negotiable times that you work? Is it 7 to 3? Is it 8 to 4? Is it 9 to 5? Whatever it is, put those time blocks in your calendar. The next is meal times. What times do you plan on eating each day? Pick a specific time for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then when do you get up in the morning? And when do you go to bed each night? Plan that in as well. Do you have a morning routine? Plan that in. Do you work out every day? Plan that in as well. Basically, anything you do on a daily or weekly basis needs to go into calendar blocks. And what you're doing here is building the basic structure of your day. You have to start with the basics before we get into all the details of the rest of your life and time. Once you're done filling everything out, now you can take a step back and look at your calendar at a glance and see how much free time you actually have. Outside of the things that are required to be taken care of, like family, work, personal health, see how much free time you actually have. For some people, it might be a lot, like hours per week, and then others, it might not be. Maybe you just only have maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour free a week. Tip #3, do a mind sweep of your need to do's. The next step to do is a mind sweep. Grab a piece of paper and make a list. I want you to think about everything that you have to do outside of the things that are already on your calendar. Basically, it's everything you have to do that doesn't happen weekly. So maybe this week you're working on a big project or presentation for work, or maybe there's a big life event coming up that you need to prepare for. Write all of your need to do things on a list. Make sure it's not something that you want to do. We'll get to those later. The things you're putting on this list above all else, need to get done to keep your life on track and to keep your life moving forward. These are the things that if we don't get ahead of, there's going to be consequences for. Now, next to those tasks, you're going to want to write down how long it will take to complete each of them. And this part is a little tricky because you might not know exactly how long they'll take, but if you have past experience with them, you should be able to roughly estimate how long they'll take. Remember, always err on the side of tasks and projects taking longer than you think they need to do to get done. So run down your entire list. Next to each task, write down how long it's going to take. Once you're done, we'll get on to step 4. Step 4, block out specific time for the need to do tasks. So based on how long you think it takes to get these things done, block out the time and the tasks you need to do. You might have to get creative with your schedule, but basically any of those free gaps within your schedule, we're going to start plugging in the need to do's in those areas. Pro tip, be realistic. You have to be realistic about how long it takes for each task to get done. Don't overbook yourself and make sure you leave time for unexpected tasks and interruptions. They're going to happen. Things fall behind, things switch. You just have to plan extra time in. Step number 5, do a mind sweep and make a list of your want to do's. Now it's time to do a mind sweep and think of all the things that you've always wanted to do. These could be things that you've been waiting to do for a while, but maybe you just never had enough time to get to them. Like, let's say starting a side hustle, or maybe you want to start a new hobby, or maybe starting listening to a podcast or writing a book. It really can be anything. Write down these things that energize you and inspire you. Get them all out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Once you get that entire list done, circle the one most important thing that you want to do. Then go ahead and schedule that in your calendar block within your schedule. Now, if you're super busy and you can't seem to find any time this week, put it on one of the following weeks. You're really going to need something to look forward to, and you really owe it to yourself to do something that you want to do on your own terms. If you do that and you still can't find time, I would reassess the need to do items on your time blocks. In some cases, you might have to remove some of those items, right? Things you might thought you need to do or really want to do, or maybe you don't have to do them. Or maybe in some cases, you just need to say no to somebody else in order to free up time in your schedule. Think about those and then reassess your calendar. Step number 6, color code your calendar. So color coding your calendar can help you organize your tasks and events in a way that is easy to understand and also visually appealing. By assigning different colors to different types of events or appointments, you can quickly identify and locate specific events without having to read through each individual calendar block. For example, you could use one color for work-related events, another color for personal appointments, and another color for important deadlines. Additionally, color coding your calendar can help you reduce stress and increase productivity by making it easier to manage your time and schedule. By visually separating your work and personal events, you can easily identify what free time you have and where you need to focus on in terms of completing tasks. Additionally, by color coding important deadlines, you can ensure that you're aware of your most pressing tasks and you can plan out your time accordingly. Another possible benefit of color coding is that you can be more intuitive in terms of the way you categorize and prioritize events, as different colors can be associated with different meanings, emotions, so you can use them to reflect the nature of the event. Overall, color coding your calendar can be a useful tool for organizing your schedule, reducing stress, and increasing productivity. Step number 7, task batching and avoiding multitasking. One of the best techniques to calendar block is task batching. And this is how you can actually crack the code and really optimize your time. Task batching basically is taking 2 or more activities that are similar in nature and grouping them into one time block. For example, you could calendar block writing, where you can write all of your blog posts and Instagram captions in the same time block. Or you could calendar block filming, so I can film all of my YouTube videos and film all of my Instagram videos all in the same time block, which is what I'm doing right now. The big thing with task batching is to look at the qualities of the tasks or activities and match them as best as possible. Administrative work or busy work typically pairs well together. Creative work often also pairs well together. What are the common qualities of the tasks you need to do, and task batch them within your calendar blocks. Task batching can also help you prevent multitasking. With multitasking, you're attempting to perform multiple tasks simultaneously, and it can be detrimental to your productivity and performance. One reason why multitasking is problematic is that it can lead to cognitive overload, which occurs in the brain when it's presented with more information than it can process effectively. When this happens, it can lead to confusion, poor decision making, and decreased productivity. Those are 3 things we definitely don't want. Another reason why multitasking is problematic is that it can lead to task switching costs. Every time you switch between tasks, your brain has to adjust to the new task, which can take time and energy. This can lead to decreased productivity as well as increased stress and fatigue. Additionally, multitasking can also affect the quality of work. When multitasking, it becomes harder to focus on one task, leading to a decrease in quality of the work that you're producing. Multitasking can negatively affect memory and creativity, and those are 2 things that we need as entrepreneurs. So let's do away with multitasking. It's better to focus on one task at a time and complete it before moving on to the next task. And that's kind of a built-in feature of task batching and calendar blocking. Tip number 8, stick to your schedule and protect your time. I know it's easier said than done, right? Just stick to your schedule. Sometimes it works, sometimes you can't. But try to stick to the schedule as closely as possible. And I get it, it's easier said than done, but this will help you develop the habit of time blocking and make it more effective over time. As you build up your routine, the habit of calendar blocking gets easier. The other part about sticking to your schedule is to protect your time. A lot of people are going to want to use your time, and in this case, you have to protect it. This might be the case if someone wants to meet for happy hour, or if they want to meet up because they haven't seen you in a while, or whatever occasion it might be. In the case that you have already blocked an activity, try to stick to that as much as you can. In many cases, if you're short on time every week, you're going to have to start saying no to others to free up your personal time. And don't be afraid to protect your time. Before we get to the last tip, question of the day. Give me the top 2 things that you plan on calendar blocking this week. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll drop what I'm calendar blocking this week as well. I'm interested to see what you guys put in the comment section, and I'll make sure I'll comment back. Tip number 9, how do you determine if you're calendar blocking effectively? All right, so steps 1 through 8 were to show you how to calendar block. Now, once you've done it, how do you know if you're effectively doing it? Now, there are a few ways to determine this, and I'm going to go over the 6 checkpoints you should review weekly. And it's also the last page of the free PDF download. Again, it's linked in the description. Download that and you can go over these 6 questions. I have it all organized to ask yourself the same 6 questions each week to make sure you're making progress. And here are the checkpoints to make sure you're calendar blocking the right way and it's actually working. Question 1, are you able to complete your most important tasks? By dictating specific blocks of time to your most important tasks, you should be able to complete them more efficiently and more effectively. So ask yourself that first. Are you able to complete your most important tasks? Question 2, do you feel less overwhelmed? So calendar blocking can help you prioritize your tasks and reduce the feelings of overwhelm. If you're effectively calendar blocking, you should notice a decrease in stress and anxiety related to your schedule. Question 3, do you have more free time? When you're effectively calendar blocking, you should be able to complete your tasks more effectively, which can free up more time in your schedule. Question 4, are you meeting your goals? By dedicating specific blocks of time to your goals, you should be able to make progress towards them and achieving them. So ask yourself that. Are you meeting your goals? Question 5, are you more focused? By dedicating specific blocks of time to a task and not switching in between them, you should be able to focus better and achieve more in less time. So again, ask yourself, are you more focused? The last question, question 6, do you have a clear understanding of what you need to do and when? So calendar blocking helps you plan out your day and week by dedicating specific blocks of time for specific tasks. So you should be able to have a clear understanding of what you need to do and when. So make sure you go through all 6 questions. You should have the majority of them answered. If not, go back and readjust your calendar block. And here's my biggest pro tip on this. It's important to remember that time blocking is a skill that takes practice and can be adjusted as needed. If you're not seeing the results you want, try experimenting with different blocks of time, adjusting your task list, or maybe even seeking feedback from somebody else. So now I want you to open up your calendar or use that printout that you downloaded and fill out your calendar blocks. If you found these calendar blocking tips helpful, hit the like button and don't forget to download the calendar blocking template in the link in the description. It's going to be the fastest way to apply everything that I talked about in this video into your business and life. Until next time, stay productive.